Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Goku and Vegeta Legends Limited Tag Purple unit and how good they are after their Zenkai in DB Legends and whether it's enough for them to exist in the meta. Now these guys received a plat a short while ago, but realistically, we've been waiting for their Zenkai a while. Not yellow Gogeta lengths of time, but a pretty long time. They were good upon release, but then they quickly kind of phased out of the meta. And although they've had brief moments of interchange, they realistically haven't been back for a while. Now, this Zenkai, along with the plat, is supposed to bring them back into the meta. Right now there are a couple of strong greens floating around in the meta, so although we have some incredibly strong yellow units out there, I think these guys will still be fine. Remember, they are a reverse tag unit, so when they switch to Vegeta from Goku, Vegeta is not purple type, so that does protect them a little bit against the yellow ascendancy in the meta right now. Now in terms of the abilities and everything, I'll talk through them. It's important to note though that in terms of equipment they have quite a few choices, but you definitely need their Platinum, a rivalry leading to evolution. It not only gives them a huge boost of stats, but it gives them that third ability, which is basically like adding an extra little passive. And obviously that's super important because the main thing it does is restoration of ki and charge gauge switching restoration of 40%. So it just makes being able to switch a lot easier. It gives them more ki. It helps them do a lot. So please make sure that you get that Platinum equipped. The other two equips can be whatever based on your team, but if you don't have that plat, you're probably building them wrong, because that plat will do the work of like two other equips anyway. Other than that, they are a reversed change style unit, so Goku is a melee type unit whereas Vegeta is a blast type unit, so going for blast and strike damage is more than fine. Obviously they have their switchability as their main. Every time you switch from Goku to Vegeta, you'll get 15% health, 30 ki, and vice versa. They will also increase arts card draw level by 1 and increase special damage, which is great. In terms of the passives, it's all going to depend on, like I said, whether you have that plat, but the standard passives they have, when switching in, they have 40% charge gauge filled, 100% damage inflicted, 50% of strike damage inflicted as Goku. It'll be blast damage as Vegeta, damage reduction is 60%, and then minus 10 to strike arts costs. That will be blast art costs as Vegeta. When Goku enters the battlefield, if there are two defeated members, he'll charge his own switch gate by 60%, increase his own arts card draw speed by 1 level, and seal all enemies' main abilities for 5 timer counts. When a character with revive when health reaches 0 effects revives while this character is on the field, it will increase his own Dragon Ball count by 2 and reduce the enemy's Dragon Ball count by 2 as well. Ultimate Culmination will see the unit receive 10% damage reduced until the combo ends when changing cover, and will also evade enemy's attack if a cover change is formed against a blast arts attack. Every time this character uses a blast or strike arts, they will restore their own health by 3%, minus 3 to own special arts move cost, activating up to 5 times, and inflict all enemies with an attribute downgrade of plus 10% to damage received. Following effects will occur when the character evades an enemy attack with a vanish step, drawing a special arts card and reducing the ally substitution count by 2. The two new passives that they've received, barring the one from the plat, is Fierce Battle Deciding Earth's Fate, which when the character or when an enemy when the character is hit with an enemy's arts attack, gives them a 30% increase to own health restoration effects, reduces enemies' ki by 20, and inflicts all enemies with an attribute downgrade minus 20% to special move, ultimate, and awaken arts powers. The activation count will reset when they switch, and they will shorten ally substitution counts by 5 when an enemy activates an ultimate, awakened, or rising rush while they're on the field. The two warriors challenging the ultimate foe. Following landing a strike hit as Goku, you will randomly draw one new card and inflict the enemy with minus 20% to health restoration. When faced with a new enemy, you'll get 10% damage inflicted, nullify enemy reduction, Dragon Ball effects, nullify unfavorable element factors, and will reduce the enemy's arts card draw speed by 1. Before we talk about differences in their abilities, obviously Vegeta is essentially just Goku, but with blast arts for a lot of replacing the strike arts. So where you would see a situation where Goku would gain plus 10% to strike arts, Vegeta will get blast arts instead. On top of that as well, every time you switch between the two of them, you reset a lot of the activation timer counts on their abilities. So switching sometimes is for the best, even if you have the ascendancy on the opponent. You'll gain ki, be able to combo, get new cards, draw new cards, and reset the abilities of the other unit as well. So it's not always sometimes just about resetting or switching for the sake of switching. It's about switching to obviously keep up your damage combo and kind of maintain that high level of damage. In terms of, like the actual abilities, there is actually quite a bit of difference between the green and blue cards. So, for example, the first one is, for example, if we look at the Vegeta, his green card allows him to draw a special arts move, restore his own ki by 40, increases blast damage, nullify enemy special action cover changes, and inflict minus 50% to health restoration. Goku's green, on the other hand, increases strike damage, randomly destroys an enemy's card, draws a special move card next, and restores your ki while reducing the enemies. So a very significant difference. What this means is Goku is slightly better against ki heavy lineups, so against combo units or units that restore ki quite easily, whereas Vegeta is better against health restoration units. It's not a major difference, and because you'll switch between the two to take advantage of both, it shouldn't be a big problem, but it is something that you can note. In terms of the special arts card, Vegeta, nothing too much here. Cancels enemy attribute upgrades on hit, whereas Goku, I believe, on his blue card, restores Vanishing Gauge. So again, quite a little bit of a difference. Goku restores Vanishing Gauge by 70%, which is quite big, whereas Vegeta is more of a damaging ability and reduces or applies an attribute downgrade minus 50% to enemy sustained CUT effects. So there are some slight differences between them when it comes to abilities. Overall though, your goal is to play with them hard and fast, to keep switching between them as frequently as possible, allowing yourself to score as big a win as possible. So realistically, you want to just keep switching, comboing, and the moment your combo fails, you can then kind of switch them out. That's really what they're designed for. They are a little bit tanky when they first enter, as most damage dealers are, but really their functional design, I'd probably say, is one of get in, throw down the gauntlet with both of them, keep switching, and then, once you kind of run out of the ability to combo, switch back out and reset everything and start again. One big thing about the typing, like I mentioned earlier, is when they switch character, they switch typing. So Vegeta becomes reverse purple, and Goku obviously is purple. This is quite significantly important because it's a big consideration when you are trying to assess type matchups. Vegeta can turn a battle against a yellow enemy into something not so scary, especially if you are bringing them into fights against Ultimate Gohan or against Martian Vegeta. So it's definitely something to consider. I, for one, find both of them to be very useful. You'll switch between both of them quite easily. It's not something unusual to do. I think you'll find them quite good. Overall, I think they're going to be really good. I think they'll be quite solid for a while. Their counters are already out. So in theory, this is probably the strongest that Yellow is ever going to be, with Gogeta Blue, Martian Vegeta, Beast Gohan. This is the strength of Yellow right now. So if they are introduced into the meta at this rate, they shouldn't really have a huge problem handling their own for a while, because the chances of us getting a whole bunch of Yellows anytime soon again is quite slim. So I think for me, definitely there is consideration that I think they could last a decent time in the meta. They also obviously switch typing, which is big in the meta. So yeah, for me, realistically, I think they are very good. But let me know what you think. Bye.